From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD, Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. It is time for the premier sports betting show. Okay, so, and that's the Primetime Angles, baby. So pretty much, let's go ahead and jump into it. We have the NBA Finals going down tonight. We got the we're moving the series now to Miami, and yeah, it should be some pretty good things going on here with this series as well. So, let's go ahead and jump into it and see what I got for you guys today, because, it's that time. We finally got a game. We don't have to talk about the game anymore. We can actually go ahead and jump into the game today. So, NBA Finals Game 3, this is how it's looking right now. We have the number one West seed, the Nuggets, 1-1, and the Heat are 1-1. So we have a tied series. We have an over/under plus 2.5. I'm sorry, over/under 214.5 tonight. Spread is 2.5 to the road team tonight as well. And then we also have money line. We have it's bumped up to minus 150 on the Nugget side. Now it's plus 130 on the Heat side. When it started off, it was actually minus 140 to plus 120. So as you guys can see, the money's kind of coming in now on the Nuggets, even though I know there's going to be a late push on the Heat. They're just trying to make sure that they get a certain number here. So pretty much the way that we break down this game tonight is there's going to be a winner, and it's going to be somebody that has to take control of this game very early. It can't be anything about going back and forth tonight. And I truly do feel like whatever team steps up with the biggest run to start the game, now it doesn't have to be necessarily at the beginning of the game, but whoever gets the significant run to start the game, I'm saying in the first half, that's going to wind up being the winner of the game tonight. And I think that that's going to tilt towards the Nuggets, because the Nuggets have figured out some things that they did wrong that they can easily fix tonight. Also, they know that they're going to have to step it up defensive-wise. Now, you're not getting as much as you think you are from Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler had 13 in game 1. He had 21 in game 2. So when you do the math on that, he's only averaging 17 points a game in this series. Jimmy hasn't had this big outbreak moment of where he's just killing you, because they are doing a good job of defending him. Tonight, I say go ahead and loosen up a little bit and try to focus in a little bit more on Bam, and try to focus in a little bit more on the side players as well too. Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin. Also, you have to figure out a way to make it to where Kevin Love's not going to be an effective player in this game. Kevin Love only had 6 points, but he had 10 rebounds that proved to be the difference in the game, in my opinion, because that gave them a great start, and it also gave them a great situational moment when he did step into the game. Now, the biggest liability for this team at this moment is going to be Cody Zeller. Cody Zeller has been so bad lately in this series. Even though he's been scoring a couple points, he still is just getting cooked defensively by Jokic. And I feel like tonight, Jokic, if he goes and gets a triple-double, they're not going to lose tonight. It's been like that all season. When Jokic gets you a triple-double, it's a win for the Nuggets. And I feel like tonight, Jokic is going to take it upon himself to really put his imprint on everything in this game tonight, because, he was probably the angriest person walking back to the locker room. Even though he keeps the same kind of cold look either win or lose, he walked to the locker room a little bit faster than he usually does, and that was just frustration. And I feel like tonight he knows that this is the get back game, and he should be right on the money about this one as well too. So I do figure that the Nuggets are going to probably get this win tonight, but it's not going to be easy at all. It's not going to be easy, but I do feel like tonight we do have defense at an absolute premium. You know what I mean? And it's all about who wins the first quarter and who wins the fourth quarter at the end of the day, in my opinion, in the series, in this game tonight. And I truly do like the under 214.5 tonight. I feel like we're barely going to get to 100 points. I feel like we're going to really have some good defensive stops and good defensive moments. And that's what you usually get when you get these Miami games as well, too. So let's go ahead and move forward to our next topic in hand, and that's going to be some more NBA draft talk. And let's go ahead and jump into the Pistons. The Pistons need to find their X factor in the upcoming draft. Now, they're drafting fifth. And pretty much they had hopes of drafting number one. And I think that if they would have got the number one pick, they probably would have figured out a way to get assets for Wemby. You know, I don't think that they would have been 100% all in on Wemby if they were going to be the number one team, because you have to understand they got Jalen Duren. They have Jalen Duren. They have James Wiseman. They have Marvin Bagley. So those are three significant big men. All three of those big men were drafted in the top 5 of the draft. Okay. Even though Marvin Bagley, you know, you got him from Sacramento, you got Wiseman from Golden State, and then you got you drafted Duren. So Duren seems like he's going to be a good center moving forward, and they do have the body work in the backcourt as well too. You got Jaden Ivey. You also have Cade Cunningham, the former first round pick a few years ago. So you have a lot of guys in this group. Does Detroit really need to settle in on another rookie, or could they go ahead and say to themselves, you know what, we can get rid of this pick for a veteran? We can go ahead and trade back. We can add some more assets for the future and move forward from there, because we know that there's plenty of teams that want this spot. And you really look to yourself and say, who's the guy? Who can be the guy? Well, they're talking about Cam Whitmore from Villanova. Cam Whitmore is a very big guard. I would say that he's really a forward, because 6'8", 235, that's not a guard, in my opinion. That's a guy that should be playing the 3 or the 4. And you know, sometimes we got to stop, you know, placing these guys in positions that they're not ready for, in my opinion. So you have Cam Whitmore here, but I would say the best fit for this team would probably be a guy who's going to be a straight up wing player. And I think that Jarace Walker could be a very significant guy for him, because he's a guy that can really go ahead and be a Draymond type, because he plays really good defense. And he's an effort player. So they may need to look at that situation. And he's coming from a very successful college basketball team as well, too. You know, you have to look at the success that these players had. Cam Whitmore was on a Villanova rebuild, okay? And Walker was on a team that was favored to win the national championship last year. So when you look at the two players, who's the better player? When you really look at it, who's the player that's going to help you win basketball games? That's what you're trying to get. And that's why I say X factor. And I feel like this guy can be an X factor. You have Ben Wallace in place as one of your executives. This screams Ben Wallace's name right here, because Ben Wallace was an undersized center who was a really, you know, fit guy that was able to become the leading rebounder for half a decade. So there's just a lot of things that you can look at with Detroit, and you got to say to yourself, Detroit has to go back to being the scrappy, defensive-minded, tough team that they've been. We need the bad boy Pistons back somewhat. I know that they're still young. They still really don't get it. That's the whole thing. They really don't get it. And I just really think that what's going to have to happen is they're going to have to start alleviating some of this young talent. But they have to show that this young talent has to show that they can play in the NBA as well, too. But I would say this. I would say Marvin Bagley, James Wiseman are good pieces to move to get you some veterans moving forward. I know that, a veteran might not want to be on a team like Detroit right now, but it might be your best option right now as well, too, because some of you guys just aren't contributing well on these really good teams. But on a team like Detroit, you can show these guys how to win basketball games and it gets really fun. You know what I mean? So pretty much with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic in hand. And let's go jump into some NFL real quick. And we got McVay, confident in the Rams this season, feels they can bounce back from a losing season. Okay, because the Rams, first losing season in Sean McVay's tenure as well. And pretty much you have a guy that was on the brink of leaving the team and becoming an announcer. He was ready to do the John Madden, the John Gruden, his actual mentor. So, he was very, very close to leaving the Rams from what I was hearing. But 25th hour, he had to get reminded that they gave up so much to get him his little Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was good for the team. It was good for the city, but it's a questionable win too. This wasn't one of the better Super Bowl wins of all time. There's a little controversy there. You had to have some ref help. And then in your other effort in the Super Bowl, you got absolutely sunned by Bill Belichick. So the jury's still out on Sean McVay being on actually being an elite coach. It seems like he has elite rosters and he knows how to handle that roster, but can he coach guys that don't have the same expectations, that don't have big expectations? That's a big question with Sean McVay. But I felt like the Rams, with the little bit that they had to work with this offseason, they were able to bring in the players that fit their roster and fit their system. But they lost a lot of players that were part of the great chemistry and the great nucleus of the team that won the Super Bowl a few years back. So the Rams are in a real rebuild at this point, and they really can't rely on telling themselves that they got picks moving forward because they don't. That's the problem. And they didn't really fix the quarterback situation. They're saying to themselves that we trust Matt Stafford. We feel that Matt Stafford's going to be our quarterback. He's going to lead our team back to the promised land. We're not worried about that part. He's what they feel is a future Hall of Famer. I say the jury's still out on that situation, in my opinion. You know what I mean? He just hasn't done enough winning for me. That's all, the whole thing. Winning a Super Bowl with the all-star roster, that's different. You know what I mean? But, winning a Super Bowl with a team that was really built up for you, that's different. But you can kind of say the same thing with the Rams because that's exactly what they felt like was the missing piece. But Jared Goff would have been able to win that Super Bowl too with the same type of roster that Stafford had. And I just really feel like Sean McVay is in a show and prove moment. He's not going to lose his job if they have another bad season, but he's going to be questioned more about his actual credibility as this elite coach that he's been carried out to be now. I just really feel like he's still a guy who's still learning his way. And everything came really quick because he was really focused in on winning games the right way. He was able to master that part of the NFL on how you win football games and continue to win football games. But a big thing that happened to Sean is that a lot of Sean's staff has been hired by the NFL as head coaches, and those same guys who are head coaches poach away the guys that were in LA with them, and they give them promotion. Instead of you now being just the defensive assistant, you're my defensive coordinator now. So we can't say he has lost a lot of coaches as well too over the last few years, but that shouldn't make a difference though. At the end of the day, if you have the talent, if you have the players, the coaches can coach that up. So there's a lot of things that the Rams just have to answer this season. I don't think Stetson Bennett was a good option. I think Stetson Bennett is the ideal clipboard holder. And I think whoever they bring in for, say, that third quarterback role will probably be the actual backup for this team moving forward. Stetson Bennett was awesome in college, but this isn't college anymore. This is a different animal. This is a different beast. And I truly feel like he was very robotic and very mechanical, and everything was kind of, predetermined for you. That's not how the NFL works. I don't think that he'll be able to ad lib as well here at the NFL level because the talent that's at the NFL level. So I truly feel like that was more of a glamour pick because he just played in the national championship game. National championship game was at SoFi. So let's go ahead and draft who they feel was the hero of the bowl game, of the championship game, which he really wasn't. It was an overall team win, overall team effort. So with that, they got a lot of confidence in the guy. 65-7 game. Why not? Right? Why not? But with all that, the Rams really do look like a team that is in the rebuilding process. And from what I'm seeing now and what I'm thinking, I'm a little bit more scaled back on what my first thoughts were. I thought the Rams were going to be a really bad team coming into this season. But I truly do feel like the Rams are going to be a bit better than what I'm even estimating. You know what I mean? I think that they'll figure out a way because McVay knows how to win in this league. And he's going to know how to win certain games that ain't nobody's going to be thinking about the Rams in. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's the Rams update for you guys right now as they wrap up their OTAs moving forward. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. And that's going to be this. We're talking more NFL, and the Saints feeling recharged with the acquisition of Carr. But how long will it last? Is he their short or long-term quarterback? That's the question that I have as well, too. Is he the short-term or is he the long-term quarterback? Is he a guy that you feel like you're going to have for the next 5 to 6 years, maybe even a decade? I think a decade's a bit too much because he is entering like his, I would say, what is it? Derek's 10th year in the league right now? About 10th year in the league for this situation. And I think that they have to short-term this situation. Yeah, he's on a 4-year contract. It's a $100 million contract. You know what I mean? $25 million a year, all that good stuff. He's one of the highest paid players in the NFL. He was already one of the highest paid players in the NFL when he left the Raiders. And in free agency, he didn't get traded like the Raiders wanted to. The Raiders wanted to somewhat get a pick off for Derek Carr. Derek Carr refused to oblige any Raider request after they embarrassed him mid-season. So that was a salty situation for the Raiders in a sense. And then literally he played around with it as if he wasn't going to New Orleans. The only team that really sparked the interest that would intrigue him to go directly to a team, and possibly the only team that was willing to offer him a $100 million contract. I know that the Bucs didn't have that on the table. I know that the Panthers didn't have that on the table if they even called him. And I don't know who else was trying to get to him. I know the Jets were always kind of thinking about Aaron Rodgers. They could say that Derek Carr seemed like an option, but once they figured out that Rodgers was going to be available and that he wants to play in New York, the whole thought process of getting Derek Carr was over with. So Derek Carr has to hit right away. Derek Carr doesn't have time to figure it out. Derek Carr doesn't have anybody to blame anymore. I don't think he was, outright blaming the defense or anything like that. But let's just say he doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have any more excuses. New Orleans defense is better than their offense. Let's keep it real, okay? And Derek Carr taking over the offense means that the offense has an upgrade now. Will they be back on the same level that they were when they had Drew Brees? No, because Drew Brees is very cerebral. Yeah, Carr's very cerebral as well too. But the thing about Drew Brees is very instinctive. And Drew Brees isn't scared to get hurt. Derek Carr, ever since his leg injury, has been very scared to get hurt. Everybody has to understand that part about Derek Carr. Derek Carr was a straight daredevil before he broke his leg. Now he's really cautious. If he sees a guy coming to him and knows that he's about to get sacked, he may throw he'll throw the ball in the ground, and this is on 3rd and 1. You know, a guy like Drew Brees is going to try to keep that play alive, do everything possible to get that first down. Derek Carr is too much of a safe quarterback, and that's why he's out of Las Vegas now. I think that he's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. I put him in the top 10 category. But he has great competition here in New Orleans. And I know I've been on the train of this player for some time now, but he's really that good. Fresno State's Jake Haener, who came from the same exact college as Derek Carr. He has the same ambition as Derek Carr. And he has the same attitude as Derek Carr as well, too. So that's why Derek Carr better watch his back, because Derek Carr went to the Raiders when they had just picked up Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub was a former Pro Bowler. He wasn't a Pro Bowler when the Raiders got him, but he was coming off of a season that he was still a decent quarterback. And the Raiders had some plans to where, okay, Matt Schaub could possibly help us get to the playoffs. It took them one game. One game. Derek Carr went out there in the second quarter, played the whole game, and wound up stealing the hearts of all Raider fans everywhere. And that moment, that day, they said he has to be the starter of this team. And what did Dennis Allen do? He obliged that on the final game of the preseason. He announced right after the game, Derek Carr is going to be our starter. And then they went ahead and went 0-8 to start Derek Carr's career. All right. Derek Carr better hope that Jake Haener doesn't touch the hearts of Saints fans yet, because the guy is really good. Let's just keep it real. The guy is very good, and he's going to give Derek Carr the most competition he's ever had from a backup quarterback. And that's a great thing, because that means that this will conduce some great winning, because they're not going to be going back and forth in the quarterback room. It's teacher-student. But I truly do feel Derek Carr is more of a 2-year situation for the Saints and not a 4 to 5 year situation for the Saints. And the Saints will figure out a way to where they can trade Derek Carr as well, too, in the coming years as well. That's how I'm feeling. They're not just going to outright release the guy. They'll make sure that they can get some assets back for him, because he should still be a quarterback that's very usable for the next 5 to 6, 7 years. But we'll cross that road when we get there. So when I look at the Saints, everything is based on how good Derek Carr can be. If Derek Carr can be the guy that we believe he can be, the Saints easily win this division. If Derek Carr goes back to being indecisive and really not ad-libbing and taking over games like the great quarterbacks do, then the Saints are still going to be the same team they were last year, mentally. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But all in all, with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. But before we take our commercial break, if you guys need a book, you need a sports book, join PickYourAction.com. Bettors who sign up will have deposits 100% matched up to $1,000. Also, they offer daily payouts, which everybody loves. You can get these payouts via Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. Use my promo code POPNEW. Once again, that promo code is POPNEW, and you will be eligible to join up with the PrimeTime Sports Investors. That's my pretty much my better betting advisory service. It's one of the best in the game as well, too. You guys can sign up, and you guys sign up for the book, deposit in the book. You guys will get all the bells and whistles that they're offering, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you a month of free exclusive client bets, because you have signed up, and I will put you in the exclusive client list. So that means that I'll be helping you get some money as well, too. And so, you got the daily payouts, you got all that good stuff going. Boom. Who else got you set up? Your man, Pop DiBiase. So if you guys do go ahead and sign up, deposit, do all that good stuff, hit me up, let me know so I can confirm for them and for myself, and then you will be getting plays right there on the spot from the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and when I get back, we're going to be talking some Dodgers, we're going to be talking some MLB Wednesday night, and man, It's going to be all good. So pretty much you guys stay tuned. And once again, this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Gapper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. Let's go ahead and jump into Blue Crew Daily. Ferguson blows not saves, but save as Dodgers surrender big lead to lose 9-8 to the Reds. The Dodgers were up 8-3, and they wind up wasting a Freddie Freeman grand slam in the process. The Dodgers, okay, it was already a murky type situation for the Dodgers. The Dodgers jumped out in the first inning, scored 3 runs, but then they gave up 3 runs right away as well too. So we get to the 4th inning, and here we go. JD Martinez hits himself another home run. Okay, he gets the solo job. Then you get the bases loaded, and your former MVP, current MVP candidate, gets up there and smashes a grand slam. Good night, Irene, right? That's when the Dodgers do that in a baseball game, or when any team does that in a baseball game, it's lights out. Cut it out. We done. Have a good day. But in baseball, you can come back. It's not hard to come back in baseball. If you hit that groove, if you get on fire, you know what I mean? You have no time clock. That's the whole thing. You got a pitch clock, but you ain't got no time clock. And I really do feel like the Dodgers yesterday got a little bit too cocky. They got a little bit too cute. And they didn't take the Reds as seriously as they should. The Reds are a 3rd place team in their division, okay? The Reds are not that far back from the last spot in the playoffs. As I keep saying, the National League is a tough league this year. The American League, not so much. But the National League is tough. You're not just going to walk into team stadiums and beat them by 15 anymore. It doesn't work like that. You know, the bad teams are young and the old teams are old. I mean, the good teams are old. The bad teams are young. And sometimes that young energy is too hard to contain. And I feel like yesterday what happened was that the Dodgers just got really lackadaisical. They didn't take certain spots in certain situations as serious as you should. And I really, truly feel that Dave Roberts left Caleb Ferguson out there way too long. It seemed like he just forgot to throw strikes, or he was too scared to throw strikes. That was killing me. The guy just was not putting the ball over the plate at all. He got a couple gimmies by the umpire, but it seemed like for 12 straight pitches, he couldn't hit the mark. And nothing's wrong with Caleb Ferguson, health-wise. I think that was more of a guy who's been pitching a lot over the last few weeks who hasn't got enough rest. And I think that when you really look at it, if Shelby Miller is considered the guy that you want as your closer, why wasn't Shelby Miller in the game last night? Shelby Miller was warming up to come into the game to try to save the game. And what happened was that Ferguson still messed the game up. So the Dodgers wind up losing 9-8 because they give up 3 runs in the 9th inning. They were up 8-6. That's just, no, that's not supposed to happen. And the Dodgers really need to look at themselves in the mirror and tell themselves that when we have leads like this, we don't lose these games. Remember who we are. We're one of the best teams over the last decade to ever do it in baseball in the regular season. This is nothing but sparring for us. This is nothing but extended spring training for us. The playoffs are our true season, but we're not going to have a playoff if we lose in games like this. So the Dodgers really need to the Dodgers got the gut check that they needed. And I expect the Dodgers to go out here and absolutely romp the Reds today. If they don't, that's too bad. But I'm not losing faith in the Dodgers being who they are. The Dodgers are one of the best teams in baseball. In baseball, these things happen. And it happens when you really don't have a closer. And that's one thing the Dodgers don't have. The Dodgers are just lacking a closer at this moment. They'll be able to fix this situation very soon because they will start making players available. And the Dodgers will be a part of the trade deadline, something that they haven't been a part of the last few years in a significant way, but they'll be back. And I don't think that the Dodgers are willing to give up prime pieces like they did for Scherzer and Trey Turner, because now you're dealing with the aftermath of what happens when those guys don't get you World Series rings. One's over in Philadelphia, the other one's with the Mets. They both got $100 million contracts or better, but they couldn't deliver a ring for you. Then you got Keibert Ruiz and you got Josiah Gray. Those guys are phenomenal right now in Washington. Even though Washington's one of the worst teams in baseball, but they don't have one of the worst records in baseball. They just one of the worst teams in baseball because they have a young team. If you kept these two players, you might be in a different boat right now. Think about that. But you know what? We're not going to dwell on the past. We're not going to think about the past. We have to think about what's going on today. And the Dodgers today, they need to fix this problem almost immediately. The Dodgers need to be in the business of looking for a closer. Stop trying to find some type of feel-good documentary movie story with all these guys that you're just picking up that haven't pitched in 3 or 4 years. These guys are available for a reason. And it's because they're not really good baseball players. So why do you want to put them on your roster? But the Dodgers can fix any pitcher. That's what they can do as well, too. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about MLB Wednesday night. We didn't have too many early games today. Everybody kind of is starting a little bit later today. That's good. So then I have a lot to talk about as well, too, even though I'm only talking about 3 games. But I'm checking scores now, and we do have a final already. The A's win 2 in a row against the Pirates. They won 11-2 yesterday as a plus 200, and then they come back around today, win this game as a big dog as well, too. I'm trying to see the exact number. They won this game as a plus 145 today. So, yeah, big first inning. A's get 7 runs in the first inning, and that was all she wrote. And that's what teams are supposed to do. You get on them early, make sure they don't beat you late. It's just that simple. But that's the one final score that we do have today. But we do have a full schedule. We got 14 games left. We got the Padres and the Mariners and the Padres coming up in the next 30 minutes. So you guys be ready for that. That one is going to be on MLB Network as well, too, because as you guys know, they don't have a TV contract anymore, the San Diego Padres. So that one will most likely land on the MLB Network, or you guys will have to stream it on the MLB.com. So let's go ahead and get into what I feel is the primetime game of the day, and that's going to be the Twins and the Rays. This is a game between 2 first-place teams in the American League. You got the Rays with the best record in baseball, and you got the Twins with a record that's just above 500. It's kind of like how the season's been going, back, back and forth. That's exactly how the season's been going, like that Aaliyah song. So, pretty much you look at this game tonight and you have Pablo Lopez on the mound. Sean Armstrong is a guy that's making his second appearance this year. This is a reliever move because they're going to go with the relievers today. So they're going to start the game off with Sean Andrews, who had 3 strikeouts on debut, and he walked 1, gave up no runs in 2 innings. Pablo Lopez has kind of struggled a little bit here in his last 4 because he's given up, from what I'm seeing here, 17 runs in his last 4 games. He's also given up 23 hits in the process as well, too. But he's been able to fan 24 of those guys as well. But, all in all, they expect him to be better. He got big money to be their ace pitcher. He's a former Cy Young. There's a lot of things he has to do that have to compensate him. And he's not doing it at this point. But he's still getting used to this team. He's playing with a much better team at this point. The Marlins are a team that's on the rise, and they're growing, and but they got growing pains as well, too. With the Twins, you have a ready roster, in my opinion. You have a roster that's really set up to win right now, not later on, but right now. And I feel like with the way that they've been able to keep guys like Buxton, somewhat healthy, even though Buxton right now is on the IR with a rib contusion, so he'll be out today. Joey Gallo's out as well, too. Nick Gordon has been sent to the 60-day list, so he's going to be on for a while. Kenta Maeda is actually on the IR as well, too. He has a right tricep strain. That's something that you're going to have to look closely at. Tyler Mahle is also on the 60-day IL as well, too. So they have a lot of guys that just are not available right now. So, and it's sitting in the pitching range because Gallo, that's an easy fix. Gordon's possibly an easy fix, but Buxton, that's crucial in my opinion. Buxton is too good. Buxton, he's kind of struggling, but he still got 10 home runs, 23 RBIs, 31 runs on the season. He's very valuable to what this team is doing as well, too. So, all in all, when I look at this situation, I say to myself, tonight in this game, we do it like this because the Rays are playing great baseball, but I feel like the Rays are leveling off a little bit as well, too. Now, when you look at what the Rays did last month, they had a couple days where the going got a little tough. You know what I mean? So, they were doing a little bit of losing last month compared to all the winning they did the month before. But we'll keep it real. They've won their first 4 out of 5 games, but they did do a lot of that against Boston as well, too. They wound up beating Boston 3 out of 4 to start this month. So now they beat Minnesota yesterday 7-0 at home. They're trying to go ahead and duplicate that today. But I think what happens here is Minnesota finds a way because Minnesota probably doesn't have the ideal lineup for them tonight. But I truly do feel that Minnesota winds up getting the win in this game tonight. So I'm taking them with the plus 110. We will see how it goes. We will see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. Let's go ahead and jump into the Orioles and the Brewers. This might be our best game of the day, but this is the interleague game of the day. We got Corbin Burns going against Dean Kremer. This is going to be a good one. Kremer is the pitcher for the Orioles. Burns is the pitcher for the Brewers. Burns was a former Cy Young as well, too. And, he's kind of struggled this year, but he's still a very, very much a top pitcher in the league. And he had a pretty good game last time out. He struck out 7, gave up 3 runs, walked 4, and only gave up 2 hits over 6 innings. He was even better against San Francisco at home on the 27th of May. He wound up striking out 8 that day, only giving up a run, and then he walked 3. So pretty much with that, he's pitching pretty good, but he's even right now on wins and losses. He's 4-4. He hasn't won a game since May 6th. So, he's getting quality starts, but he's not getting enough run support, or he's just not getting it to where, he's not getting the help that he needs from the bullpen that you truly need to win these baseball games. So Today, he goes against a team in the Orioles who really have forgotten that they were supposed to be still rebuilding. This team is in the race. They are right here, and they are ready to make their big move on becoming one of the best teams in all of baseball. They are thinking about the playoffs right now, possibly the championship series, maybe even the World Series. You don't know. These guys are focused. These guys believe in themselves. The fans believe in them as well, too. So they have taken that mantra and they've became a really good team. Dean Kremer was really kind of shaky here in the beginning, but he's been good the last 3 starts. He's actually struck out 18 guys in that process. He's only given up 6 runs as well, too. So he's doing really good, in my opinion. And I feel like today he can continue that same success because it seems like he's ready for the big game. And I like them as my dog of the day with the plus 120. So I'm taking the Orioles as the dog of the day, plus 120. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, we got ourselves an NL West matchup between the Rockies and the Giants. The Giants coming in here 500, 30-30. You have a Rockies team 26-36. This is going to be one of the better under the radar games tonight because you do have 2 teams that are trying to figure out their way. The Giants are actually coming along right now. They're trying to get themselves in that 6 hole when it comes to the playoff race. Then you have Colorado, who's nowhere near being like a factor in the playoff race, but they're not far behind. 26-30 is not that far. You know what I mean? They're about 4.5 games out. So you got Connor Seabold on the mound today. Connor Seabold was very good last time out against Arizona. He pitched 5 1/3, struck out 5, gave up a run, gave up 3 hits, walked 2. So he did pretty good in that game. Also, he got a little shellacked by the Mets, but he didn't give up a ton of hit runs in the Mets game. He just was out the game pretty early. So Seabold seems to be maybe a better pitcher on the road, but tonight, when you're going against somebody like San Francisco, they shouldn't be this high of a favorite, in my opinion. San Francisco's just still not that good. They're good, but they're not good. You get what I'm saying? Like, they can be a team that can factor into being, really good on some nights, but then they're a team that's really bad on some nights as well, too. And tonight, I don't know if they're going to be a very trustworthy candidate for this game. I feel like the Rockies have been really overlooked, but they've actually played pretty good baseball here in the last 10 games. I've been watching them, and they've been playing much better baseball, even though they're only 2-3 to start this month off. They did have a good little run there at the end of the month when they did wind up winning 5 out of 7. So they're playing a little bit better baseball. They can get consistent when they want to as well, too. So we're going to see how this one goes tonight, but I like the run line tonight with the Rockies at plus 1.5, and you're going to get plus 125 on that deal. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take another commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to go ahead and jump into Talkin Tickets. So with that, you guys just stay tuned, and I'll be right back to you. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles. And we'll be right back at you.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, here we are. Here we are. Let's go ahead and get to your favorite subject, my favorite subject, and that is going to be talking tickets. So pretty much up first in talking tickets, let's talk some WNBA. And I have some WNBA for you today. In WNBA, I got the Lynx with the plus 14.5. I got the Mercury with the plus 150. That's going to be our WNBA Wednesday double right there. So if you do parlay this bad boy, it should be about 3.5 to 1, 7 to 2 for you guys on this bad boy from what I'm seeing. So we should see how it goes, see how it shakes out. But I like those two bets tonight, and we move forward from there. We have ourselves the MLB PrimeTime PK6, 75 to 1. I already explained why I like the Twins, plus 110. You D-backs, Nats, you got two pitchers on the mound that are likely to give up a lot of runs today. If not, the relievers are going to give up some runs today. So I do like the over 10. The Dodgers in a get-back spot today, winning this game by 2 or more runs. I know they have Thor on the mound, but I think Thor is due for a big game because he was pretty pissed off at himself after the last game where he struggled in. Then the Orioles money line is our dog of the day with the plus 120. And then we also have the under 9 with the Cardinals and the Rangers today as well. And then we finish up with the plus 1.5 with the plus 125 on the Rockies. And this is going to be a 75 to 1 ticket right here. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so we move forward and we have ourselves the NBA Finals Game 3 bets, and we are going to take the under 214.5. And then also in the first half, we're going to take the Nuggets minus 1.5. And then with the Heat, we're going to take plus 110 on the first quarter. And then that's what we're going to do here. So hopefully we can go ahead and sweep the board tonight. And you see, I'm not playing favorites tonight. The Heat, I expect a great first quarter from the Heat because the Heat seem to be right in this game, right intact in the game when the first quarter starts. It seems like this has been their best quarter throughout the playoffs against everybody. And then with the Nuggets, I like the first half play because I feel like the Nuggets will seize momentum by the time we get midway through the second quarter. They should have themselves a 3 or 4 point lead going into the half. And then we have the under 214 because I expect defense to be at a premium tonight. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so we have ourselves the NBA Finals Game 3 props. I'm taking the Heat under 103.5 team total tonight. Also, Jamal Murray, double-double, plus 275. I'm expecting Jamal Murray to actually get this in points and rebounds tonight. I think that he's going to be really good at getting boards tonight and pushing the break. So that's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm betting on. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out in that regard. Then we have Jokic under 50 points, plus 50 points plus rebounds plus assists. So that means that we have to do the total, and he has to stay up under 50 when it comes to those three categories. So we got the plus 105 on that bet. And then we have the alternate over under, and then we have the under 210.5 plus 115, and we move forward from there. KCP to score 15 plus points at plus 450. KCP owes me 16 points tonight. That's why I'm putting that down there, okay? KCP, get us 16 points tonight because you are the best bet of the night on the props, in my opinion. I think that we're going to get 16 or better from KCP tonight. And if KCP gets 20 points for us tonight, I need to get 5 signups in the morning. That's how I know if you're watching the show or not. You know what I mean? Because I'm giving you a plus 450, dog. I'm not giving you some chump change. You know what I mean? So let's hope he can get it home for us, though. I won't hold y'all to it, though, man. Let's just cash the ticket. How about that? You know what I mean? So with that, I thank you guys very much for tuning in today. You guys are the absolute best. Like I said before, make sure that you guys check out pickyouraction.com. You guys can get up to $1,000 in and get up to $1,000 matched actually, 100% as well. Whatever you deposit for that website. Also but you have to use that code POPNEW, okay? So use the promo code POPNEW. You'll be able to get yourself your deposit matched up to $1,000, and then you'll be able to reap the benefits of being an exclusive client for a month. So you have to confirm this for me, so then I can put you on my list, so then I can make sure that you're getting the plays every day, just like a regular exclusive client. So let's go ahead and meet in the middle. You guys sign up for the book, and you guys confirm for me. Then I'll get you guys the bets that's going to help you break that book. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And once again, I thank you guys so much for tuning into the show today. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. And I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.